Do you like my YouTube videos? If you do, please leave a comment and actually click on the like button. And if you want, you can hit subscribe. That way you can stay up to date with all my YouTube videos. Hey, and go ahead and click that bell icon to be notified. Thanks. Take care, guys. This is a video people have wanted me to make for a long time. And let me give you guys, just you can see the title, so there's no shockingness, but let me give you disclaimers. This is not the end all be all, but this is really, really good information to use. What is up, reptile rescue family? So there's the video, there's the title. We're going to name it anyways. What are ways? What do I do? How do I know if my bearded dragon is sick, is unhealthy, is healthy, all of the above? What's wrong? How do I know something's wrong? Oh my gosh, so many ways to ask the same question, but let's get into it. The number one way, guys, I'm just going to start right away, is you need to know your reptile's behavior. You need to know, are they lethargic? Do they always take an hour when they wake up in the morning before they get moving? Do they always bask? Do they normally sit on the cool side of the tank? Do they look around? Do they move around? Do they climb? The behavior and the routine is the number one thing to track. And I can't really show you or tell you a routine to look for, because that routine is individualized to your bearded dragon and will differ. Some of my bearded dragons love to bask 90% of the day. Some love to be on the cool side and then bask and then come back. Some devour greens, some eat a few greens. So you need to know the dragon's routine. Hi, Archie. I know I missed you when you were in brumation. You got a little bit of shed right there. Maybe we'll take it off later. So know the routine, know how much they normally eat, how much they normally eat every day or every other day, and keep track of that. That's not, if this routine changes, it's not always means something is wrong, but that's the things you should look for. How often do they poop? Things like that. So there, we're going to start there. Know that. That's a good start. With that being said, there are things that can change that routine. Brumation time, weather changes, new tank, new lights. You know, there are things that can happen, and you got some shed right here too, and you need to keep those things in mind. Also, reptile shedding. So keep all of those as factors for the routine, and that's why it's not super easy for everything, guys. But there are some physical signs on your bearded dragon's body to know and look out for. But before we get to those, I do want to bring up the second best way, other than knowing the routine, is their waste. Knowing how they poop and pee is very important to knowing if they're good. Is their pee always, their poop and their pee, is their waste always diarrhea? Is it always extra liquidy? Are they passing huge dry stool? Are they passing massive urates to the point where the urate themselves isn't pure white? Maybe it's got some blood in it, it's red, it's orange, maybe it's yellowish orange, so the urate has been inside the GI tract for too long, and things like that. So those are other things to look at. And if their urate is not passing, or they're going to the bathroom and they're not passing urate at all, they're just putting out stool, another red flag we should look at. Typically, these are all signs of something going on in the digestive tract. Normally, it's too dry. When a bearded dragon poops, there should always be some type of liquid through it. Shouldn't be diarrhea, but there should be water. There should be urate, which is their version of peeing, right? Although they can pee liquid as well. So if you're not seeing urates, probably have a dehydrated bearded dragon. Here's another way to tell if they're dehydrated. The excess fat pads that a dragon stores on their head. So, bearded dragons, we can all look at charts that show length and body weight for that length. Snoot to vent, sometimes snoot to tip of tail. Most of the time, those snoot to vent is how they're measured. They'll say average in the wild, a dragon that is this many inches weighs this much. That's a good rule of thumb, but that doesn't mean it's your bearded dragon. You need to look at your bearded dragon. And if you don't know how to feel for excess fat around here, there are a couple things that you want to check. Number one, we want to make sure when the dragon stands, that the dragon can stand when it's moving on all four legs, and that its stomach does not touch the the bottom. In this case, she's still laying. She's just propped herself up front, but that's it. 2, back hips. You should not see right here where the 2 bones are in her hips, where her legs connect. You should not see those sticking out like studs. That means she's underweight. Doesn't matter how much she weighs, she's underweight for her or him. The other one, are the fat reserves here on the top of the bearded dragon's head, right here and right here. Some people call them fat pads. They're really fat reserves. These should not be sunken in. If these are sunken in, little underweight, but also probably dehydrated, because your bearded dragon could weigh a lot and these could sink in, and that's a good sign of dehydration. The other one are bulging eyes. If the eyes are bulging, typically they look that way. Not always, because there are some differences in just the way the body forms, but normally they look that way because the skin is very tight on the bones at the top of their head. So they don't have enough fat and they don't have enough water reserve. How do you fix that? Well, if you see your bearded dragon is greatly underweight, you should start feeding more bugs more often, fatty, to at least catch them up to the right weight. Also, if you see them going to the bathroom and they're not passing urates, or they look dehydrated because of their bulging eyes or their sunken in fat pads here, if the bearded dragon doesn't drink or doesn't like to eat their greens when they're covered with water, which some of mine don't, they wait for them to dry mostly out no matter how often I spray them. If that is the case, then you need to supplement water. You need to take a 1 milliliter syringe and give them probably 1 milliliter a day of room temperature filtered water until their water reserves inside internally get up. Now, how do you know if you've given them enough water? Well, we start with 1 milliliter a day, which is safe for any adult dragon, and you wait until the next 1 to 2 poop cycles, and you look. If your bearded dragon poops out just excess liquid, pees out just excess unfiltered water, the bearded dragon's body knows how much water it needs. The excess it will pee out. If it still is pooping and it has small urates, or it's not leaking out any excess water, then you can give them a little bit more. You basically want to get it to the point where it's near full, right? Like when you have checking the dipstick of oil on a car, that's what they're going to the bathroom does. Oh, she still hasn't peed out water. She's got room for a little bit more. Oh, she's peeing it out. So she's not at 1. She is at 1.5. Is she at 1.25? She's not. Then boom, you know she needs 1.25 a week, right? We look at those signs. You check their body for wounds, for mouth rotting, for their beard to feel super dry and crunchy. It should be nice and soft underneath. Those are the big things, guys. Hopefully this helps give you guys some physical things to look at and some routine things, okay? You know I love these guys. If you have questions, you know you can ask in the comments. Otherwise, please leave me a like. Subscribe if you're not. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for supporting my reptile rescue family.